Hey guys, I wanted to do a quick video on how to apply foundation to not make it look cakey. I have gone to many makeup trainings and learned from professional makeup artists, and here's a little bit of tips that I've learned. Stay tuned. Okay, so the first thing I like to do is conceal the areas that need more coverage. A lot of people want to use their foundation to conceal, but it just makes it too cakey. So you just want to start with your concealer, and I'm using a combination of Tarte and It Cosmetics. So I'm going to dab a little bit on my finger, and I put a little bit under my eyes. Now this is not highlighting. I do highlighting at the end after my foundation, but this is just to get some concealing on my under eyes first. Just do a little bit. Just add a little more. And then if you have any other problem areas, I do right here. I get very red around my nose. Foundation isn't about packing it on and looking cakey and covering up everything. That's what concealer is for. Concealer is supposed to be more about full coverage and concealing. So just use that in the areas under your foundation that you need it. So then that assures you won't use your foundation or too much of it everywhere when you don't need it. Okay, so I got my concealer on. Next, I'm gonna do my foundation. So I'm gonna use a palette, but you can use your hand. Like sometimes I'll do it on my hand right here or on the inside of my hand if you don't have a palette. Now I like to use my finger, or you can use a brush, and I'll show you what I mean. So I'll use my finger, and I always start at the center of my face, not on my nose. I do my nose last, and I'll kind of swipe very thin layers like this. Kind of dot it. And then I'll get a flat top kabuki or a round top kabuki and just buff it out. In my case though, I have pitted acne scars, which I did a video on, so I like to use a stippling brush. I don't usually like to apply my brush directly into the foundation because it will apply too much onto the skin, so this just assures me that I'm not doing too much, especially for the first layer, because I will probably do more layers on myself or my client if needed. If you don't want to use your finger on your client, or if they don't want you to, you can use a regular like flat foundation brush and apply that very thinly. You'll see it won't pick up much product, so very thin amount, and kind of swipe it on, and then get your buffing brush and then buff it in. Now I did my first layer. It's so light, I don't even feel like I'm wearing any makeup. And I think that is one of the main concerns that I have from clients, especially if you're doing like young teenagers for prom or something that don't usually wear makeup. They would always say like, I don't want it to feel cakey, I don't want it to look cakey. And I would always assure them like, I'm not gonna mask it on you. Just gonna use a very little bit of product. So that was my first layer. I barely did anything. Like I said, I don't feel anything on my skin. I cannot stand feeling a bunch of makeup on my skin. So I'm gonna do the next layer, thin layer. And again, I'm just gonna dot it on here. And I like to start from the center and work your way out. You want it to not be masked around your face. So you just want a very little bit around the outer part of your face. Now I haven't done my nose yet because I like as little product as possible on my nose. I'm oily, so my nose will be the first thing that the makeup starts to wear off of. And the more makeup you have on, it's harder to touch up later. So any like leftover product that I have on the brush, then I will do my nose. And that's what you should do on anyone, your clients, because you don't want it to look cakey. And your nose will usually show the makeup more because you have pores that are more visible on the nose area. So I'm gonna use my stippling brush again actually to do my nose area. Because not only does a stippling brush help on like my pitted acne scars, it also helps on enlarged pores because it pushes the product better into the pores. And I have very textured skin and pretty large pores. Okay, so I did 2 very thin layers of foundation, and you can always keep adding more layers or adding anywhere that you need, or use your concealer in areas that you see haven't been concealed properly. But again, I don't feel like my makeup is super heavy. I'm not like just squirting it on like you see these videos of people doing and then just buffing it out. It's way too much makeup. It doesn't feel good. It doesn't look good. You can see it might look perfect on YouTube or on Instagram, but trust me, in real life, it doesn't look good. So I did conceal. So now I said after I like to do my highlight. So I'm gonna apply my concealer to my palette, and it's the Tarte Shape Tape. Use my flat top to just make sure everything is nice and blended and good. If you like to use a beauty blender, beauty sponge, you can also do that. I personally like brushes better. Sometimes I'll use it under the eyes, or to actually remove makeup. If I do feel I overdid it anywhere, I'll use that to kind of lift some of it off, but it's not my tool of choice. But I know some people only use that, and that's fine. So I went ahead and applied the rest of my makeup off camera. So I hope those tips helped you. Thank you so much for watching. See you next video.